But the problem with guns in this country, ultimately the problem is people killing people with guns illegally. And one of the fascinating aspects of our debate is that because guns have such symbolic pull on so many people, we end up arguing about guns and what they mean and less about the crime and the mayhem they can cause. And liberals would be far better served by focusing on the latter rather than on the insanity of guns or the bizarre and violent gun culture in this country. No, it's not the gun culture. Gun culture is okay. It's criminals with guns. That's the problem.
They're crazy people with guns. But
yeah. Which is a complicated problem.
Right. But is an access issue ultimately.
It is an access issue. And by all this, I do not mean to say that there is no relationship between the prevalence of firearm ownership and the distinctively high American rate of gun homicide. There is. We have more guns around. There's no doubt about that. That means that Americans, when they go to commit a crime, have easier access to guns, just because they're floating around, those 300 million guns out there. That means that when kids are fooling around in the home and playing cops and robbers or whatever, they are more likely to come across dad's improperly stored handgun or shotgun because there are so many more of them around. That means that if someone is suicidal, it's more likely that there will be a firearm in the home, which means that the suicide attempt is going to be more likely to be effective. Those are all facts of life. Those are the side effects of having a culture in which guns are prevalent. No doubt about that. But then the real question is, so what are we going to do about that? And too often, liberals imagine at some level, conscious or subconscious, that what we need to do is get rid of the guns. We need to do something akin to, in a science fiction movie, a huge magnet floating over the country, suspended from a spaceship, and zoof, all the guns will disappear with it. The thing is, that's never going to happen.
It's impossible.
And I always, you do know you live in America, I say to people. You do know there's this thing called the Second Amendment. This is a constitutional principle, and this is deeply meaningful to many of your neighbors. So the question is not how will we erase all the firearms, because that's not happening. The question is how do we move forward in a logical, rational way? What can be done today, tomorrow, and the next day to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have any firearms?